G-Roll Electronic Productions, baby.
Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matters to we the people. Joe Biden is who we said he was. And, you know, I've been saying since he started running that Joe Biden started, well, we knew he had Alzheimer's, he had dementia when he was running. He showed early signs of that. And they are using him as he's a puppet. He's a puppet for the elites. He's a puppet for the left, the loony left, and he is basically showing. That's why he disappears from time zone in. We're in the middle of a crisis in Afghanistan, and he comes out and gives a little speech and answers a handful of questions and disappears again. He goes back and disappears back to his basement. That's why we call him Basement Joe. And he is who he said he was. What did you expect from your grandpa being the CEO of the company with Alzheimer's, and you know you should retire him, but instead you let him still run the family business? That's basically what Joe Biden is. But this is a great article by the National Review, and it says Joe Biden has badly, visibly bungled America's withdrawal from Afghanistan. He has compounded the problem with his sluggish and dishonest public statements. This has gone so badly that even people in institutions that are normally sympathetic to Biden and his party have noticed. I mean, you can't hide this stuff. You can't hide this stuff. American allies have been appalled and vocal about it. And you know, Biden did a speech yesterday when they asked him about our allies. He flat out lied and said that, they called and said they didn't say anything negative, basically saying they didn't say anything negative about the situation, and you know, he's just lying. You act like we can't read foreign papers and read what these countries are saying about us. I mean, that interview that he gave yesterday was just chock full of lies. Not since James Buchanan has America had a president who came so prepared by experience for the job, yet had so little clue on how to do it. He didn't have the experience. That's the thing. They always called Biden the dumbest person in government. He was known for that. That's why he was known for his stumbling and bumbling around before he started with the dementia problems. People was talking about how he have all these gaffes and stuff and didn't know stuff and would lie about things and plagiarize things. He is a total idiot. You elected a total idiot and got him running our country. That reality will be showed from consciousness soon enough by people with a professional stake in not acknowledging it. Stake in not acknowledging it. But a growing number of American people are likely to remember. So will our allies and enemies around the world. The Hollow Man. This is what I basically said. He's basically a puppet. They're basically stating what I've been saying from the get-go. He is a puppet, and they just needed a body there. They needed someone to win over Trump. So they put this puppet in because they know he don't know what's going on. I think this whole thing is set up. They probably did the same thing to Biden what they did to Bush when we went into Iraq, just lying about the whole thing. Because you notice that he's telling us one thing, and then right after he tell us that, his own people comes out and contradict him on his statements. But it was possible, if you did not look closely, to construct a case on paper over the past year and a half for Joe Biden as an appropriate person to be president of the United States, commander-in-chief of its armed forces and leader of the free world. No, I mean, I knew this was going to happen. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. If you go back and look, I've been saying it from the beginning since he started running that this dude is an empty shell. But certainly Biden did not lack the experience in high national public office, exposing him to everything a man would need in order to be prepared for the job. He was a senator for 36 years, dating back to the closing days of the Vietnam War. He chaired the Senate Foreign Relations Committee twice, including during the post 9/11 era when Congress authorized the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. He served 2 terms as vice president. He traveled to the war zones and met scores of foreign leaders. Biden also a man who came up from humble means and was seasoned by personal tragedy. One could characterize his years in office as the record of a public servant who values important institutions, took many mainstream positions, and showed a willingness and ability to work with people across the aisle. Even the National Review is giving him the benefit of the doubt of this. I'm not giving him the benefit. He didn't retain. He did all of this stuff in 36 years, but you can't name me other than the 1994 crime bill and the crime bill that came out before the 1994 crime bill. I think it was the 92 bill too, 92 or 93. Other than that, other than locking black folk up, what did Biden actually do in his 36 years? Nothing. He didn't do absolutely anything to help anyone in his 36 years. And what from his 36 years of experience has he learned? You seeing what he's learned. He learned absolutely nothing with his 36 years of being in government. The article goes on to say, yet longtime Biden watchers knew better. That was me. I'm included in this. 2 sets of critiques of Biden have followed him over the course of his career, and Republicans and conservatives have hardly been the only ones to level them. First were the things people noticed about Biden before 2019. For all his time serving in Washington, Biden was widely understood to be a lightweight, a fabulous, a plagiarist, an exaggerating braggart, a walking gaffe machine, a purveyor of malarkey who covered his inch-deep grasp of everything with his Irish charm and his ability to talk fast at length until the listener had long since lost track of the topic. Yeah, Biden rarely had ideas of his own, and when he did, they were usually the subject of mockery. His capacity for filling airtime at Senate hearings without actually saying anything was legendary. That's what I'm telling you. This guy is an empty shell. He's an idiot. Yet, as Clarence Thomas and others warn, Biden could also be two-faced, reassuring people with promises in private and backing them in and breaking them in public. He could handle the Senate because he'd been there since he was 29 years old. And there's a lot of places to hide from accountability as one of 100. When Obama made the biggest right decision of his career to take out Osama bin Laden, I beg to differ. I don't think this actually happened. I believe the whole Osama bin Laden thing is made up, but that's a whole nother story. But Biden was the guy in the room saying, Mr. President, my suggestion is don't go, because there would be nobody to pass the political buck to if it failed. It wasn't just the bin Laden raid. Biden was also known for being wrong on just about every significant foreign policy issue in Washington for a half century, from the Cold War to the War on Terror. And I talked about this before. Like, he's been on every single policy decision. He was on, every single policy decision that you can think of, he was on the wrong side. From 9/11 alone, he was for going into Iraq. He was for going into Afghanistan. He was for Syria. You could just name the list, and each and every one of them was a debacle, and he was for it. In 1973 through 75, after the United States had signed the Paris Peace Accords that were supposed to end the Vietnam War without the collapse of South Vietnam, Biden was a loud voice in the Senate for cutting off any further U.S. assistance to prevent the North from overrunning the South. He didn't care about American moral obligations. Quote, I may be the most immoral son of a gun in this room, Biden said at a Democratic caucus in the early 1975 as he argued against aid to Cambodia. Quote, I'm getting sick and tired of hearing about morality or moral obligation. There's a point where you are incapable of meeting moral obligations that exist worldwide. He didn't care about what happened to the people we abandoned either. Quote, I do not believe the United States has an obligation, moral or otherwise, to evacuate foreign nationals. The United States has no obligation to evacuate 1 or 100,001 South Vietnamese. Now, now think about what's going on in Afghanistan today. Do you really think he cares about this? The people over there, even the Americans over there. He lied and said that the Americans were safe over there. There's no obstruction from them getting to the airport to get airlifted out. I mean, he just lied. Lies after lies after lies. Barack Obama was in high school in Hawaii in the years that led up to the fall of Saigon. Donald Trump was still just another no-name real estate developer from Queens. George W. Bush was packing off to Harvard Business School. Bill Clinton was fresh out of law school and teaching in Arkansas. Jimmy Carter was winding down his single term as governor of Georgia, still unknown on the national stage. Ronald Reagan was leaving behind his governorship of California and gearing up for his first serious national campaign. But Joe Biden was already in D.C. helping shape the congressional policy that tied the hands of Gerald Ford while Saigon was overrun. Hawks and doves alike blasted Bidens for opposing the Gulf War in 1990 to 1991, supporting the Iraq War in 2002 to 2003, opposing the surge in 2007, and supporting the 2009-11 withdrawal, a move that was seconded by Tony Blinken and Lloyd Austin, now his secretaries of state and defense. And I saw an old video yesterday. Someone posted it on Twitter, an old video of McCain blasting Blinken on his foreign policy stuff. And this was from years upon years ago. In 2010, Biden boasted of the U.S. departure from Iraq. Quote, some said that our drawdown would bring about more violence. Well, they were wrong because the Iraqis are ready to take charge. Instead, ISIS took over nearly half of the country, and the United States had to go back to war. My thing is, too, with this, how about not going into these places in the first place? How about we mind our own business and we worry about what's going on in this country? How about that? The article goes on to say that Biden never actually ran anything bigger than the Senate committee, which runs on its staff, until he was vice president. The things he ran as vice president, such as overseeing the stimulus, were notable disasters. Politico reported that Biden-owned boss Barack Obama warned another Democrat in 2016, don't underestimate Joe Biden's ability to F things up. I remember that quote. and this is the guy we got in president. Even Barack Obama was like, yo, this dude messes stuff up. It has not been hard to notice how much Obama has kept his distance from his former VP, as Biden does just that. You might prefer partying on Martha's Vineyard with George Clooney and John Legend too, if your alternative was making your political legacy a hostage to fortune in the hands of Joe Biden. The facade of Biden genial charm was also prone to cracking when he was actually pushed to do more than just run his mouth. His infamous meltdown on the campaign trail in 1987 happened when reporters were hot on his trails for stealing another man's speech and biography. I mean, I remember that. Not that I remember in 87, but I've read about it. I've actually read about it. And they were talking about how this dude straight stole someone's speech from, it was a UK guy. I can't remember who it was. Someone from the UK. Stole his speech. And in the speech, the guy talked about his life. And straight stole the speech and pretended that Biden pretended that this UK guy's story was his story. I mean, I ain't never seen anything like it. I mean, just plagiarism after plagiarism. Biden told one voter, I have a much higher IQ than you, I suspect. No, you don't. Biden, you're one of the dumbest people in government. And tried to shout down the press with a series of lies about his academic attainments. I exaggerate when I'm angry, Biden conceded later. Yes, we noticed. When he debated Paul Ryan in 2012, he went full Joe Biden, shouting over Ryan repeatedly to prevent any sort of engagement with his ideas. Let me see. There's a lot left in this article. I'm not going to read the rest of this. I'll leave the link in the description below. But let me know what you think about Joe Biden. His true colors are actually showing. people are finally figuring out that this guy has dementia, don't know what he's doing. And even before the dementia, this guy was a freaking idiot. Like I said, he was one of the dumbest people in government. But let me know what you think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest in news. Until next time.